You don't even really need the headphones. Just talk to somebody you good.
Sure.
You was getting some interesting. I was looking at the storytelling. I was surprised people even commented some of the songs they commented.
Yeah.
My brother called me. He was like, "Bro, they got so many good storytellers. I don't know which one to comment."
Right. And see, honestly, I was trying to open that question up for more than just hip hop, dude. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a good point because people don't realize country music has great stories.
They have a lot of great stories.
Country music, people don't even. Yeah. People don't realize it, bro.
Honestly, I didn't realize it until I was working at. I was working at Dollar General, right? And I remember being up in that bit, like closing that, even when it's just dead in that bit, but they just keep running country songs in that motherfucker.
Bro.
And that's all they do is tell stories in that bit.
Right. I think got so used to listening to my dad, he kind of installed in us early on, like being well rounded and versatile on culture, listening to everything. So that's like he played rock. My pa went to Noka.
Gotcha.
My pa, it's crazy. My pa was a street nigga, but he went to Noka and everything. But you know when he started hustling and stuff, he was like, man, this money where it's at. Right. But all my uncles went to Noka too. And my mom, she comes from a musical family. All her, my grandfather plays at Preservation Hall. Matter of fact, he got honored last year. Okay. You know what I'm saying? He's played with everybody, but it's like it's crazy. But he always did with us listening to everything. Right. So he played. For my first time hearing reggae was with him, rock, everything. Like, and that's when you start realizing, yo, they got dope stories in other musical forms. Sure. My sister actually gets that trait from him too. Okay. We all do it, but she listens like the depths of the places she go with music. She just take it to another level. All the different stuff she listens to.
That's exactly. I about to say though, it's crazy that you said he went to no good, but he was a street dude.
Sure.
But it's interesting because it's like I wonder why is it looked at as a mutually exclusive thing, as if like you can't be well versed and be a street nigga.
Bruh, you know what's funny? I have that argument with people. Street niggas are some of the smartest people I've ever met in my life.
That's what I'm saying. So when I heard you say that, I know you didn't say it in a weird way, but it just registered that thought of that's not surprising to me.
Right, it's like a lot of people are like, people are like, you can learn a lot. I think people get education and stuff sometimes a little too caught up in intelligence. Right. And education doesn't always amount to intelligence. You a lot of dumb motherfuckers.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
God, I just
with basic ways of thinking, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Like, they might be book smart, but it ain't even about being street smart. It just you might be very book smart, but when it comes down to I don't like using the term common sense because I don't think it's common.
But I get it.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like just simple, like you say, basic shit. Niggas just don't understand.
One of my dad's best partners, his name I call him Uncle Wallace.
Okay.
He did 20-year jokes in Angola, right?
Okay.
But if you talk to this dude deep. Didn't go to school past probably 6th grade. You know what I'm saying? But he just when you hear some of the stuff he says, this dude did everything on the planet, but it's like when he talk and he getting it you gotta respect what he's saying because he's telling you some shit like we was talking about religion and Christianity and all the different. He was like, and he pointed out the only peaceful religion throughout history, honestly, is Hinduism and Buddhism. Right. And when you hear him say it'll fuck your head up if you don't, you know what I'm saying? But you're really a deep dude. That's what people don't realize. Like,
cause they be on that surface level shit.
Yeah, a lot of people on surface level shit more than what you think. Yeah. You ready to start?
Oh, it's all good. But look, let me ask you this before we start.
Yeah.
Can I put the headphones on? Like, is you gonna hear it?
You're not gonna hear it. That's the reason I told you don't put
it on. It's all good for sure. All right. I'm good.
Bro, I really found my niche with this shit. Like, I like this shit. I don't gotta like this shit anything so much in my life. Cause I can literally, people ask me, like, when I talk about, like, Beyonce, dog, depending on how I feel that day. Right. If I want to talk about, I be wanting to talk about music, but if I got some other shit on my mind, I just talk about it. The shit is almost therapeutic. Right. Like, in a lot of ways, it's one of the healthiest things I've ever done.
Yeah, man, that shit is.
We live. What's up, everybody? It's your host, Tim. Welcome to 1-800-504-LA. I got a special guest in the building. I got one of the dopest MCs that I know. I'm I'm gonna go past MC. He's one of the dopest artists that I know. I got my boy Allay Earhart in the building.
Yo, what's happening, my brother?
Nothing much. What's good with you?
I'm chilling, dog. You know me. I've been anxious to get here so we could finally let people know the real. You know what I'm saying? You know, we've been having conversations for years, and I think it's time for people to just get our dynamic.
It's funny. 'Cause I was just thinking about when I first met you. We was on the Oaks, and everybody was talking about music, and I walked up.
Yeah.
And you ended up freestyling that day.
Okay. I don't know why I had to stop the call.
So long to see.
Here we go.
That shit is crazy.
Yeah, so it'd be like, we'll do like a pre-recorded and then you have them scheduled to release, right?
Yeah, I schedule them. Once I'm finished recording, like the last episode I released, I recorded that episode at 1 o'clock in the morning. I said to release that morning, but if I want to schedule it to release next Thursday,
right?
I'll do all the work done. It's done. You know what I'm saying? The only things I do is just put music on. Put my music on. I'll find a song, put a little music on front of it, put a transition, the episode, next transition song, and I'm out of there.
For sure. Now let me ask you this, because of course I'm gonna respect the platform. I want to make sure it's cool with you first. Would you mind doing like maybe 5 to 10 minutes like live conversation, but I can not post it on the story, but just so people could be anticipating the episode.
That's perfect. That's perfect for me. That works for me. So I think that'll help the two of us. You know what I'm saying?
So whenever we get back on, just let me know and I'm gonna go live.
All right. I'm gonna count down. I'll count down for you. That's cool. I'm gonna count down from 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We back. But streaming in itself is complex.
Streaming is.
You know what I mean? But like you were saying, it would be dope. It would be dope to have, for each artist to have their own streaming network.
For sure. I think that's something that the artists will have to, really the top tier artists, they'll have to be the ones to set that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, they are literally the cultural leaders. And I'm saying that word now because that stems back from when we was talking about, not to keep tying it back into Wayne or nothing like that, but because I remember with that debate, someone was like, well, what you want him to do? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm not asking him to be MLK or goddamn, you know what I'm saying, Jesus, but you need to have some substance. And the guy was like, well, he's not a revolutionary, he's not a cultural leader. But then I thought about it, I'm like, actually, he is cultural, because hip hop, that's why I think people be getting misunderstood. It's like literally our livelihood.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like, it's not just entertainment, record sales, and going back to what you said about kids being impressionable, right? It's like me as a kid, as a 13-year-old kid listening to Lil Wayne, Wayne is the reason why, I'm not blaming him, but he's a big reason and why I decided to sip lean when I was 13. You see what I'm saying? Because he's ahead of the culture, you see what I'm saying? And I'm looking at it like, wow, it might be a cool thing to do. Not blaming him, because ultimately my parents should have, whatever the case, and me, making my own decision. But the cultural leader made it cool. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So they have to make that cool, like how Jay-Z doing. So I give him that. You see what I'm saying? I think every artist should have their own streaming platform, and then have those exclusive agreements with each artist to put their music on each other's platform. That's how you knock out the fucking Apple Music and all that shit. You see what I'm saying?
Apple, you realize Apple, I think I was listening to something, and I'm gonna go look it up to get the, but I remember hearing something that Apple Music gets like 50% off top of everything that comes through. You know what I'm saying? But the crazy part is, it's like it was hustling. It's like I'm growing a dope, I'm supplying a dope, but I'm getting the smallest cut off the dope. It doesn't make, you know what I'm saying?
It doesn't make no sense.
It's crazy. Like, I want artists to be able to get what they deserve. I'm just real passionate about that. But like you said, you always have to be on point with your paperwork.
Period.
It's like, I was curious the other day, so I just Googled Cardi B contract.
Okay.
Cause I remember when she signed. I remember when they broke that she was signing a deal, and this was before Cardi became Cardi. Right. She was still loving hip hop Cardi, and everybody forgets about that. Yeah. I think that time period. And they said, so I just Googled a contract. I could, of course, I'm not gonna find a real contract, but there's always details on different news sites or whatever. Right. So there's a whole nother label that gets 50% of her royalties off top. They chop that off top. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I was talking to DJ Chicken the other day at a birthday party. Okay. Shout out to my homie DJ Chicken.
Shout out DJ Chicken.
And he was saying, man, I know that contract is bad.
Right.
But that usually happens to artists their first contract because you don't know any better. Right. But I was like, and then I was thinking about the amount of Cardi B is the #1 rap act on Atlantic Records.
For sure.
As much as I love Meek, that's the priority act over there.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? So, and I was thinking, if ever there was a time for her to try to renegotiate her deal, it's right now while the iron's still hot. Right. You know what I'm saying? While you have leverage. Right. And I think that's what a lot of the why everybody's acting so kind of crazy about that #1 spot, that #1 Billboard spot. But you know, this, like we say, it's the music business. There's different benchmarks and stuff that goes in with advertisement and funding of projects. When you hit that, you can go back. Yo, I had the #1 or whatever. Right. I need this, and them labels look back like, yo, if you don't have the #1 spot, well, you didn't do this on your last project, so you don't need this. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. See that, man, it's very frustrating because it's like, me personally, I don't really care for those accolades. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it's a cool achievement, but it's like, I think just having that organic base, making, you know what I'm saying, some real substance that people can relate to, it outweighs all that shit, you know what I'm saying? Now, in terms of Cardi B, yeah, I'm more than sure her contract is messed up too because, you know, I like a lot of artists coming up before they even reach the big label. Decide to
a small label.
Exactly, who fuck them up in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times they don't be knowing what they're doing either.
At all.
You see what I'm saying?
Everybody's green to the situation.
Everybody's green. You know what I'm saying? And so by the time they do get the big dollars or the big label, it's like, yeah, you're not really eating. You know what I'm saying? And that's another reason. I'm so sorry if I keep bringing.
No, this is what we do on here.
Yeah, I'm sorry if I keep bringing Wayne's name up, bro. But that's another prime example of business 101, right? Because I think we had this conversation before, but it was just one of the things of a lot of people, you know, was looking at Baby like, man, you fucked up for not paying Wayne. Now, whether it may be an ethical thing, that's a different story. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, if you saying that's your son, and you know that he put the label on his back, yeah. But paperwork might not say that you owe how much you feel you owe. Because as I can recall, every time when I used to watch his interviews, which had no substance, he would always be talking about, whenever business was brought up, he'd be deferring the question like, man, don't ask me nothing about business, talk to Cartaz, whatever the case is. But now fast 4 years later, you was complaining about not having money, but it's like, I don't get it. I get it, but I don't.
You know what's funny? Before the whole Wayne and Baby thing happened, my barber, he grew up. I think I told you he grew up with Baby. So Chill's that's my guy, my uncle.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? Giving me a lot of game and like he always tells me, don't let that shit fool you. Don't let all this other that optical shit fool you. This is what shit really is, and not just with music, with life, period.
Right.
And I remember him telling me probably 2 days before it happened, yo, Wayne isn't happy or whatever. I have all the details, so I was walking from class and Devontae was like, dog, Wayne.
Shout out to Devontae.
Shout out to my dog Devontae, another dope artist.
Yeah.
He was like, dog, Wayne is whatever. So I instantly picked up the phone. I was like, damn, Chill, you was right. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But I don't think people, like you said, you have to be accountable for your own business. Like, this is grown man business. This ain't, you may see kids in this business. This ain't for children.
At all.
It's a cutthroat game.
time.
And if you're gonna get in, you have to understand what you're getting yourself into. You know what I'm saying? I remember even years before that with Wayne and not Wayne, with BG and Juvenile taking legal action to make sure they got out of their deal. You know what I'm saying? And I remember the rumors of Wayne. I don't know if you remember when it was being rumored that Wayne was gonna leave and go to Rockefeller.
Right. Yeah, that was before Katrina.
And I was like, I never thought it would happen because I just couldn't see him leaving.
Right, me neither.
Because my first thought is that contract probably so tight. It'd be so hard for him to probably get out of that contract without the, you know what I'm saying, the right lawyers, and also I wonder how young he signed that deal. Now I do remember an interview Juvenile said Wayne at one time was trying to figure out how to get out of his deal and how Julie was able to get out of his deal. Right. But, you know, the pen is always mightier than the sword. You know, Ice Cube was the smartest man in the world with them NWA deals. Everybody took that $10,000 check. He didn't sign because he knew you already owe me this because I did the work. Right. You know what I'm saying?
He knew, but he didn't. You know what I'm saying? Like, he wasn't all the way aware of the business, but he just had that feeling like this ain't right. You know what I'm saying? And he's definitely one of my inspirations as well, Ice Cube, because eventually that's the lane I want to go in as well. Mm-hmm. Like, I just love the fact how he, you know, made so many different transitions in his career and sustained himself. Like, he didn't just stick to being a rapper. You know what I'm saying? Like, this man literally have multiple shows on VH1 and just on television networks, period.
Bro.
You know what I'm saying? And of course, we already know he got one of the most iconic movie franchises in our culture. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's definitely one.
You know, a producer credit, a director's credit. That's almost. We didn't really have a lot when we were growing up. You know, you didn't have too many outside of maybe an Ice Cube who was getting in it. You know what I'm saying? So
I say one person for sure who I think people always look at me side eye, but I think he was like one of the most smartest rappers ever. Well, I feel like during their prime, I think he had like the best prime. 50 Cent.
I always forget about 50.
50 a lot of people be forgetting about 50. 50 had video games, the vitamin waters, like the clothing and all that. That was already done before, but I've never really seen nobody do the video games before 50.
It was different.
It was different. You know, everything he was doing. 50
understands is right, but he really understands business.
He understands business.
And like, it's always funny when you hear rappers talk about what rappers about what. Right. People say 50 might joke or whatever, but he's with whatever. Right. Like, I've seen too many videos like, and I've even hearing people who 50 isn't cool with saying, yeah, he, you know what I'm saying? But it was funny because 50 understands marketing, I think, better than some people who even go to school and major in marketing. Like, like this, you owe me money thing he got going on Instagram is genius. Because people think it's serious, and they go to thinking, oh, this is real. And he understands perception, and he understands, okay, but it's still good for power at the end of the day. Period. Or whatever he's doing at this other network at the end of the day. Like,
and it fits his brand.
It does. Oh, absolutely.
It's not like he doing some clown shit that just like, this is so out of the norm. Like, everything that he, like you said, he got marketing down to the science.
Like, I think in 10 years we'll look back at 50 and have a greater appreciation for some of the stuff he does. I think.
I hope, man.
Because I think it's hard to see it when you're young. When you look back at, oh damn, he was before his time. Like, you know what I'm saying? Even with Jay-Z and Beyonce doing the whole equity thing right now, with different whatever, instead of just taking the money up front, well, give me a stake in a company.
Right.
I can 50 Cent might have been one of the first artists to do that with vitamin water. Right. He didn't take $100 million. No, he had equity when they sold a company. That's what his show was worth. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It's like
smart, man.
He was like when he told Chris Light, everybody else does liquor water. Let's do water.
Right.
That's a different kind of understanding and thinking because everybody drinks water.
Everybody drink water, and then, like I said, once again, it fit with his brand because 50 was the fit guy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So everything just made sense for him to do what he did, and it just made him stand out so differently. And see, that's another reason why, although I love Jay, right? Mm-hmm. Every artist that I'm talking about, from Wayne to Jay to 50, whoever, like, I got an appreciation for it. But I'm just not biased. Like, I'm going to keep it real how I feel about it.
Right.
Now, when it comes down to Jay, I think he get too much credit for stuff that he didn't really pioneer.
That's fair. That's very much true.
And that's why it's like, because I remember having this conversation yesterday, because nigga felt very passionately about what I was saying about Wayne, and they hit me up like, no, nigga, you tripping, X, Y, Z. I'm like, trust me. Like, as we talking, I got Lil Wayne on my wall, so I understand.
Right.
But whatever. So I brought up something as simple as this. I'm like, okay, there's no doubt that Jay is a great MC, but how come is it when he's dropping 444, right? He gets the praise and the credit for being like this pioneer of a 40-plus-year-old rapper that's talking about infidelities, credit, like just being on a mature rap at that age, right? But I'm like, I recall a 30-plus-year-old Jay-Z going at Nas and saying, nigga, switch up your flow, your shit is garbage, what you trying to kick knowledge? And everybody like, yeah, man, we don't want to hear that shit. But the minute Jay-Z do it, years later, now
that's a great point.
You know what I'm saying? It's praiseworthy. Like, nah, y'all got to stop with the bullshit.
There is some stuff I think that he does get over credit for pioneering. Because as much as we like to think, oh, this person's the first person, you're usually not. Somebody's usually done it before you.
Right.
Or somebody's laid the groundwork for you to be able to do
what you doing.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not the first conscious rap album, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because that's really what it is, but it's not the first. You've had other rappers say the same thing, so how can he be the first?
Right.
He may be the most notable, you know what I'm saying?
But matter of fact, let me ask you that, like, how do you define a conscious rapper? Like, what is a conscious rapper?
I was thinking, because automatically off the top of your head, when you think about a conscious rapper, you think of somebody who's nice lyrically with material talking about, people automatically talking about what's going on in the world and within our communities and, you know what I'm saying, socially and politically and stuff. Right. And then I started thinking, I feel like Kendrick's broke that mold. Because to me, Kendrick is a conscious rapper. He falls, but he's taking it further than what I could have ever imagined. So I don't think that there's just one pure definition for that anymore, because Kendrick did better numbers than Drake with the Damn album. He did like, you would have never heard of a conscious rapper doing 600,000. I know the numbers not the same, but still, all said in itself, like, you know, automatically you think of artists like Talib Kweli, Mos Def, Can't even comment. I'm missing somebody. Black Thought.
Right.
But usually the conscious artists aren't as popular mainstream wise. Cole, you could argue, Cole's this first.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Cole's a conscious.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. It's a tricky word, right? Yeah. Because I remember once again having that conversation, and a young lady who has a blog called Noor and Nola. So shout out to Chelsea and her blog. Sierra and her blog. But yeah, she's a huge, Weezy F fan, and she was like, he doesn't have to be a conscious rapper in order to be considered a great. And that's why, once again, I had to pose that question, like, what do you consider a conscious rapper? Because I think we get that mixed up. Because honestly, in my opinion, I think Jay-Z is a conscious rapper. Right. I think Nip was a conscious rapper.
I believe so too.
You see what I'm saying? Like, they don't necessarily always talk about, like, that's not their main subject of political, whatever the case may be, but they just aware of what's going on, and they're willing to talk about some shit other than just what gets them paid.
Well, if you break down to the root word conscious means to have awareness. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So that's what.
Exactly.
It's getting harder to really define it. Like what is a conscious rap? And I think that's good.
That's super good.
Because you can be a conscious rapper and still have fun music, or, you know what I'm saying? And that's why I think people get so closed-minded.
Exactly. That's to your credit what you just said about Kendrick, right? Because he broke that mold, and I'm happy he did that, because it's like, for the most part, when a nigga say they're a conscious rapper or somebody classify them as a conscious rapper, they automatically put their mind into this box that he about to be talking about just this.
Right, he gonna be born.
Yeah, Because I don't necessarily consider myself a conscious rapper, but I would because I'm aware, but I'm not about to preach to you.
Right.
Because I'm not gonna put myself in that box either to just say I'm only gonna be saying something that's gonna be positive. Because sometimes my viewpoint might come off as
right.
negative, you know what I'm
Sometimes
saying?
there's two sides to me.
Exactly.
Like,
so yeah. Man.
Like just like I like Cole and Kendrick, I like Roddy Ricch, and I like, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
There's different sides. I think that's not just us. I think there's different sides that all people. And sometimes I don't think people realize there's a different side, and you just don't show it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Cole. Another question. Better MC Cole or Kendrick? You think?
That's tough.
I struggle with that one. I can't even answer it. I'm gonna be honest with you, I can't even answer that question.
It's like similar to your top 5, right? Mm-hmm. It always switches, right? Because I feel, in terms of being an artist who is able to challenge themselves and outdo the last thing that they did, I give that credit more to Kendrick. Mm-hmm. But in terms of stuff that I feel that actually resonate and connects, I give it more to Cole. Because, not to get it twisted at all, Kendrick can fucking spit his ass off. But sometimes when I go and listen to his music, it's not always like the most thought-provoking.
Cole, you could argue, Cole's different.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Cole's a conscious.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. It's a tricky word, right?
Yeah.
Because I remember once again having that conversation, and a young lady who has a blog called Nora and Nola. So shout out to Chelsea and her blog. I mean, Sierra and her blog. But she's a huge, Weezy F fan, and she was like, he doesn't have to be a conscious rapper in order to be considered a great. And that's why, once again, I had to pose that question, like, what do you consider a conscious rapper? Because I think we get that mixed up. Because honestly, in my opinion, I think Jay-Z is a conscious rapper. Right. I think Nip was a conscious rapper.
I believe so, too.
You see what I'm saying? Like, they don't necessarily always talk about, like, that's not their main subject of political, whatever the case may be, but they just aware of what's going on, and they willing to talk about some shit other than just what gets them paid.
Well, if you break down to the root word conscious means to have awareness. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So that's what.
Exactly.
It's getting harder to really define it. Like what is a conscious rap? And I think that's good. That's
super good.
Because you can be a conscious rapper and still have fun music, or you know what I'm saying? And that's why I think people get so closed-minded.
Exactly. That's to your credit what you just said about Kendrick, right? Because he broke that mold, and I'm happy he did that, because it's like, for the most part, when a nigga say they're a conscious rapper or somebody classify him as a conscious rapper, they automatically put their mind into this box that he about to be talking about just this.
Right, he gonna be born.
Because I don't necessarily consider myself a conscious rapper, but I would because I'm aware, but I'm not about to preach to you.
Right.
Because I'm not gonna put myself in that box either to just say I'm only gonna be saying something that's gonna be positive. Because sometimes my viewpoint might come off as negative. You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes there's two sides to me.
Exactly.
Like,
so man.
Like just like I like Cole and Kendrick, I like Roddy Ricch, and I like, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
There's different sides. And I think that's not just us. I think there's different sides that all people, and sometimes I don't think people realize there's a different side and you just don't show it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Cole, another question. Better MC Cole or Kendrick, you think?
That's tough.
I struggle with that one. I can't even answer it. I'm gonna be honest with you, I can't even answer that question.
It's like, similar to your top 5, right? Mm-hmm. It always switches. Right? Because I feel, in terms of being an artist who is able to challenge themselves and, outdo the last thing that they did, I give that credit more to Kendrick. Mm-hmm. But in terms of stuff that I feel that actually resonate and connects, I give it more to Cole. Because, not to get it twisted at all, Kendrick can fucking spit his ass off. But sometimes when I go and listen to his music, it's not always like the most thought-provoking shit.